Does it feel like you're getting into the point where you can kind of lock these seeds down 1 through 16? How much movement are you willing to expect over the next couple of days?
No, if anything, I feel like we're getting further away from that. Oregon lost this morning, and that wasn't great for their hosting hopes. And ECU is making this run, and UNC in the ACC tournament is looking like maybe they're going to be playing for a hosting spot. So no, we're still a ways away from feeling good about it, and some of that is because it just hasn't felt locked in at all. At any time this season, it just has felt like it's been more in flux than in a typical season.
So that is as it pertains to the hosting spots. What about the 64 teams, and in particular those last 4 in, first 4 out? We saw Ole Miss go down to Vanderbilt last night. That is not what Ole Miss needed to do to solidify its spot. How precarious is the position that Ole Miss is in?
I mean, it's definitely tight. They're right now. We have them listed as the fourth to last in. You can make an argument that maybe it should have been fifth. Them and NC State are really neck and neck for those spots. I feel like it's gonna be close, but I feel like they're probably going to get in. We'll see how the bubble shrinks here as these tournaments continue. But, there are also teams that are going to go the other way. It's not just teams that are going to come up and take bids. There are teams that are going to go the other way as well. So we'll see where Ole Miss ends up. But the stuff at the back end of the field isn't moving that much right now. But that will change over the next couple of days as other teams get eliminated and we get some more automatic bids being locked in.
So, Teddy, we talked earlier about keeping an eye on the Conference USA tournament and the Sun Belt Conference tournament because you've got those teams that have got pretty good RPIs that are either in the field or they're just outside the field. Thinking about, an Old Dominion, a UTSA. I don't know. I think you've got Texas State in the field, and if not, they're just on the outside looking in. I'm sorry. You've got Texas State as a 2 seed, so no issue there for them. Are we watching the right conference tournaments, or are there other places we should have our eyes when you start thinking about bid stealers and maybe a team like Ole Miss getting bumped out?
Yeah, I think Conference USA is definitely one to watch. The Sun Belt feels a little more locked in. The Cajuns could make things interesting there, but the CUSA just has that whole glut of teams. Southern Miss is clearly fine. And then there are like 4 teams behind them that could do something. And, they'll get at least one and maybe 2 of them in. But, we just have to see who they are. I think the American is another one to watch. East Carolina is firmly in the field. And like I said, maybe even trying to make a late play at hosting. But if they don't win the tournament like they didn't last year, that's a league that right now is not a 2-bid league. There's no one else that would be in. So that's one that, it's all right in on East Carolina, and it's a tough tournament to win. So you're more looking at other, just at straight up 1-bid leagues. I think after the Sun Belt and Conference USA. And I guess also it shouldn't be forgotten what's happening in Hoover is still a thing. Kentucky just won and kept their hopes alive, and Alabama is about to play, and they're trying to make a push.
Yeah. What's Southern Miss got to do to get into the top 8?
I think they can't do it without winning Conference USA, I don't think.
Okay.
I just think if they take 2 losses there, the RPI is not going to, the math probably is just going to come up short on them.
If they win the tournament, does that, in your mind, lock them into a top 8, or that still potentially might not be good enough?
I'd have to look. I would feel pretty strong about them as a top 8 seed, but I would have to really examine where things stand. Something like Auburn losing today certainly helps Southern Miss. I don't think Auburn's going to be a top 8 now, and so things like that are helping them. I think they probably would be, but it would be a little tight because those top 8 spots are, if there's anything getting locked in, it is teams getting locked into top 8 seeds at this point.
Teddy, we made the decision to leave this morning because of the potential weather issues and obviously the fact that Ole Miss and State aren't there. But what's the chatter? I mean, I really thought when I got in the car and left today that there was more weather on the way, and it was like, okay, get this Kentucky-Auburn game in, and then let's start this back up on Friday with great weather and play a single elimination event. What are the logistics to actually playing this tournament out as scheduled with the forecast like it is?
Well, I guess they're feeling better about what's happening the rest of today. They're trying to get Alabama and Arkansas started here, and they intend to play two more tonight. They'll play the A&M game as well. They've pushed Tennessee and LSU already to Thursday. Now, the forecast tomorrow does not look great. But The thing is, as long as they play three today, they have a fighting chance at this because with just two games scheduled for both Friday and Saturday, they have four open slots to backfill in. So it won't be pretty, but I think they do really have to get these two in. But I feel like they are feeling better about it. The forecast this afternoon and this evening has seemingly gotten a lot better.
Would there have been pushback from any of the coaches if they had said, look, we're going to stop after this Auburn-Kentucky game is played, and we know we've got great weather Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's just going to be a single elimination event? Do you think they would have gotten pushback from anybody on that?
I think there might have been a little. I think some teams would have preferred it. You can make an argument for some of these teams on the bubble about whether playing single or double elimination is better. Single elimination means you don't have to take two losses to get out of here, but it also means that if Alabama loses to Arkansas and it were single elimination, that would be it, as opposed to them having one more shot at getting a win that they need. So there are positives and negatives to both. And then, we're just trying to work with what we've got. But I think that a lot of folks, if they said in a couple years or next year even or whatever, when you're going into this, we're just making the single elimination, I think that there wouldn't be a large deal of pushback from a lot of coaches, that they would just look at that and say, like, okay, yeah, let's stay fresh, let's stay healthy. Why do we need to go through the grind that is the SEC tournament as we know it?
Do you see Alabama or Kentucky playing their way in?
I think Alabama has a lot going for it more than Kentucky. I think it's going to be really hard for Kentucky. Alabama, I didn't expect them to do it last year, so I don't want to rule anything out. And they're playing Arkansas, a team that they've been playing very well against over the last week. So it could happen for them. I think it's going to be hard for both because it's more than – Kentucky definitely needs to do more than just win one more game. And Kentucky needs two wins. Alabama, if they just win one game, things start to get very interesting because they have that big result over Ole Miss. And so now you start stacking them up against Ole Miss. And, we'll see. But I don't see it for Kentucky. I think Alabama might, but it would be challenging.
Last thing for you, Teddy, when we look at this Vanderbilt team who was below 500 in conference play when it was all said and done, what have they got to do to lock themselves into a host instead of it being a number 2 seed? Only got about 30 seconds left.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt just has to keep winning a bunch of games here. They coming out of the SEC play under 500 is not a good recipe for Vanderbilt. The RPI is incredible, but I think they really need to get to, I would say Saturday, but they need to play. They need to add a couple more wins to this thing.